What's up, guys? Luca here, back for another video, and I'm here to discuss some unfortunate news and an unfortunate reality when it comes to consolidation in the industry, in which Microsoft has decided to close down several studios at Bethesda. Now, I will start the video by saying this: I was one of the people who was all for Microsoft purchasing Bethesda, especially since ZeniMax Studios, like, they were struggling. They were highly encouraging their historically single player based studios to make multiplayer games to try and catch that endless source of revenue, because creating games is a very, very expensive. It's expensive. It's extremely expensive these days, and I was for it. I definitely thought, like, because Bethesda and Microsoft had a long history working together, that it could end up working out well, right? So I did want to admit and acknowledge that. But again, an unfortunate reality when it comes to consolidation is things like this occurring, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help that one of these studios had a dud, right? They released a dud, and it ended up bringing some bad PR, bad press, bad scores, and poor sales. Just very, very poor sales. So let's go ahead and get into it. So Microsoft closes Redfall developer Arkane Austin, Hi-Fi Rush developer Tango Gameworks, and more, and devastating cuts at Bethesda. So this information, it just came out, so hot off the press, right? Microsoft has closed a number of Bethesda studios. Um, and Alpha Dog Studios is another studio. They are maker of mobile game Mighty Doom. They'll also close. Roadhouse Games will be absorbed by the Elder Scrolls Online developer ZeniMax Online Studios. Uh, Microsoft did not say how many staff will lose their jobs, because they hardly ever want to acknowledge or admit how many people they're laying off and firing, right? But IGN did ask Bethesda and Microsoft for a comment. On Redfall, the disastrous vampire co-op game will now not receive promise updates, which obviously the studio's gone, right? Um, Microsoft said Redfall will remain online to play, and it will provide a good make good offer for those who bought the Hero DLC. Yeah, we'll see how long they keep that up, honestly speaking. In an email to staff sent by Mr. Booty, head of Xbox Game Studios, which, honestly speaking, I think Mr. Booty is next. I think they're about to get him up out of here, honestly speaking. But Microsoft blamed the cuts on reprioritization of titles and resources, which just sounds like a lot of, we don't know what we're doing. We're scrambling. We are making decisions on the fly. We're saying one thing and then changing our minds 6 months later. That's what it sounds like to me. But that's just me, right? So the email, which was verified by IGN, says, "Today I'm sharing changes we are making to our Bethesda and ZeniMax teams. These changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds which you have nurtured over many decades." Now, for me, that means that, oh, we we are definitely doubling down on Elder Scrolls and Fallout. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, that's just me. All right, it's just me. That's just what it sounds like to me. Especially with the success of the Fallout TV show, they're like, "Oh, we got to get another Fallout game out ASAP." But again, to double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones, which we'll see if that even happens, right? Requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. This is uh, business PR speak for, we looked across the studios that held the least importance and impact for us as a business, and decided to axe them. We were like, "Oh, what cuts can we make? Get them out of here. Get them out of here." Which is really unfortunate, because TangleWorks Studios, Hi-Fi Rush, maybe it didn't sell well, but it was still highly received, and honestly speaking was like the main game highly received for Xbox for quite some time during that year. So I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, right? But yeah, I'm just kind of scratching my head at that particular choice. And I mean, Arkane Austin, I hate to say it, but that makes sense given how poorly received Redfall was. And I think it sucks, dude. Like, it's really unfortunate. I really feel for the people who've lost their jobs when it comes to this. But the studio will close with some members, so it's just like some of the team, members of the team joining other studios to work on projects across Bethesda. So, Arkane Austin has a history of making impactful and innovative games, and its pedigree that everyone should be proud of. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end all development of the game. The game and its servers will remain online for players, yeah, for some time. Then they're going to be closing that joint down. Trust, right? Um, we will provide make good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC, whatever that means. Alpha Dog Studios, so that studio is going to close. Uh, they appreciate the team's creativity in bringing Doom to new players. Mighty Doom will be sunset on August 7th. We'll be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in the game. So all that money that players may have spent on the game, F you. Basically is what they're saying. They're like, oh, you thanks for the cash. We're closing this joint down, right? Tango Gameworks will also close. They are thankful for their contributions to Bethesda and players around the world. Hi-Fi Rush will continue to be available to players on the platforms it is today. So it's so crazy. Like, we put this game on PlayStation, we're still shutting y'all down. Get out of here. That's basically what they're saying, right? So they're gonna bring in Roadhouse and to the Elder Scrolls Online team. So with this consolidation of the Bethesda studio teams, so they can invest more deeply into their portfolio of games and new IP, a small number of roles across select Bethesda publishing corporate teams will also be eliminated. Mm. These Okay, those whose roles will be impacted will be notified today, and we ask that you please treat your departing colleagues with respect and compassion. Because how else are they going to treat them? You think they're going to go to their colleagues and be like, "Oh, sucks to suck"? No. This is like this industry-wide problem with people losing their jobs constantly and consistently. Cutoffs and layoffs everywhere, right? So this is like no one's gonna come on now. It's corporate PR speak and it's BS, man. And I understand why he's got to do it. Get Matt Booty up out of there too. Get him up out of there too. All right. Honestly speaking, let him skedaddle. Hold on, guys. Okay, so just got a message from somebody. But anyway, now they said the changes are not a reflection of the creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risks they took to try these new things. All right. He acknowledges that the changes were also disruptive to the various teams across Cinemax and Bethesda. Just a lot of corporate stuff. Just a lot of BS, man. Just a lot of BS. And let's see here. This announcement of the cuts at Bethesda come over 3 months after the company announced plans to cut 1,900 staff from its video game workforce, and amid a boom time for the Bethesda's Fallout series following the hit TV show. The closure of Tango hits just a year after the launch of Hi-Fi Rush, what may consider to be one of the best games Xbox released in years. Hi-Fi Rush also launched on PS5. So, layoffs are sweeping the video game industry, with a number of high-profile studios cutting staff or shutting down. In a stark contrast to a year of blockbuster video game hits, one of the biggest ongoing industry trends in 2023 was the prevalence of mass layoffs, and they have continued into 2024. While figures are difficult to obtain, estimates suggest that the number of workers laid off in games last year approached or exceeded 10,000. So yeah, guys, it's looking a little rough. It's looking a little rough right now in the video game industry. There's a lot of things happening. And again, listen, if you work in this industry, I don't know, man. This doesn't seem like a very sustainable industry right now. And I understand that layoffs are going on in other industries as well, like the tech industry as a whole. I get that for sure. But maybe it's just because of how often we see this happening in this particular industry because we are invested in this industry, it just seems more dire. And again, I think that people with the way things are in America specifically, in terms of how costs have skyrocketed, the cost of living, the cost of housing. I really feel for these people. I feel for everyone who is losing their job, and I'm looking at Microsoft sideways, like maybe you should not have invested all of that money in Activision Blizzard actually. Maybe not. Maybe that wasn't maybe that wasn't the best idea, because why would you buy all these studios in the first place just to axe them? What was the point? Because, when it was first announced they were buying Bethesda, I was like, this is great. They can have single player exclusive titles to Xbox. They could build the Xbox brand. They could bring more people to the Xbox ecosystem, right? Really compel people to wanna buy an Xbox. But then it's just like, "Oh, we're putting our games on PlayStation, on the Switch anyway." So it's like, okay, so what was you bought all these studios just to shut them down? But then again, maybe they would have been shut down regardless because, ZeniMax was doing a bunch of stuff and forcing their studios to make these multiplayer games that were bombs, alright, that bombed, that were trash. I don't know. I don't know. It's just, what do you guys think? I think this is it's fresh. These are just my fresh thoughts. I'm very curious to see how everyone else feels about it. But yeah, let me know in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys for another one and more developing information. Peace.